Hello, and welcome to the Scituate Zoning Board of Appeals. Nicole, will you call our first application?
Sure, I'm gonna bump up the 141 Turner Road, so we can vote, you guys can vote to continue.
Oh, okay. Then I guess I would ask you, how many times have we continued it?
Continue from September 19, 2013, J. Stephen Bjorken, 15 Captain Daniel Litchfield Lane, request a finding pursuant to MGL Chapter 48, Section 6, and a floodplain special permit pursuant to Section 470.9 of the Scituate zoning bylaw, or any other relief the board finds necessary to allow the reconstruction of a pre-existing, non-conforming, single-family dwelling that will meet all setback requirements on a pre-existing non-conforming lot located at 141 Turner Road.
Okay. So, did we get a letter from Mr.?
Yep, I have it for the file. Yeah.
And he'd like you to
continue.
continue? Okay.
You guys all got it. I stamped it with the town clerk. It's all official.
All right, the question I have is, how many times has this been continued now?
So May, June, July, August, September,
6.
October, so 6.
Okay.
5 or 6.
Well, let me just say what my position would be, is to continue it tonight, but I would say we need to get this moving. No further continuance. I do it in court all the time. I mean, it's just ridiculous to be dragging
Well,
this out for 6 months.
I think, at least they've been transparent about it. They're judge shopping here.
Yeah, that's what they're doing.
So, John and Ed should be complimented, I guess, and Anthony and I should be offended.
Yeah, I cry myself to sleep.
And I think Neil was out for a couple, too.
That's right. I think it was continued a couple of times because they felt Neil
Yeah,
needed to be
since we're
present.
discussing it, I have told Mr. Bjorkland that I agree with town council, and I disagree with him, so I'm not quite sure why he needs me here.
I know.
So I would move to grant a request to continue the hearing to the next hearing in November, regularly scheduled, but with the understanding that at least
Barring any
I
specials.
am not going to be receptive to hearing another motion to continue on the grounds that one or another member of
Because we've had
the board isn't
We've had a
here.
quorum for every meeting.
Yeah, we've had it each time, so that they're stuck with whoever they get.
That would be my position.
I would agree.
So, all right, so we do have a motion to continue,
Second.
second, yeah. Okay, so we have second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Nicole, can you pass that along?
I will call.
That they
Mr.
need to,
Attorney's, and let him know.
they're free to withdraw and refile,
I just wanna get this in.
but it's, gotta move the question.
Yeah, I was batting around.
Okay.
Who's second, I'm sorry, who's second?
John.
All right, second application this evening is 13 Wheeler Avenue Realty Trust at 41 Old Middleton Road, Howard, Mass. Request NGL Chapter 48, Section 6, special permit finding to raise and reconstruct pre-existing non-conforming single-family dwelling and increase pre-existing floor area above more than 20%. Property is located at 13 Wheeler Avenue.
All right, will the applicant's representatives identify themselves for the record?
I'm Herb Kundig, the designer for the project.
I'm Greg Morse Engineering. I'm the engineer for the project.
And gentlemen, will one of you just tell us what you propose here?
Sure. Again, the applicant, Wheeler Ave Realty Trust, the trustee George McKenna is with us here tonight as well. What we're proposing is a raise and reconstruct of a single-family residence. This is a pre-existing non-conforming dwelling. It's on a pre-existing non-conforming lot located at 13 Wheeler Avenue. We're looking for a Section 6 finding in accordance with Section 810.2 of the bylaw to allow this. The existing structure was built in 1948. It's non-conforming with respect to the front yard setback. The proposed dwelling, we've pulled it back onto the lot, so it is more conforming. The distances, the existing front yard setback is 20, the proposed is 22.2 feet. We feel the board can make this determination because we comply with all the other setbacks, the side yard and the rear setback. This is an allowed use. This is in the R3 zoning district. It is more conforming, and we have also submitted 3 letters of support from the abutters.
I guess I just have one question. How come you didn't kind of push it back a little farther? So it's set back even farther from the front?
The property is constrained in the back, one, due to the floodplain elevation at the back of the property, the ground contour, as well as wetland setbacks to a wetland at the back of the property.
Do you have to go to conservation?
Yes.
Have you been there?
Not yet. We're waiting for this approval.
Okay, anybody have any questions?
No, just you have moved the property back, or the proposal back 2.5 feet?
Yes. 2.2.
2.7.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
In the last 2 weeks, I've denied 2 permits on raise and reconstructs on small lots because they were 4-story houses. And they absolutely.
Because of what?
4-story houses.
Okay,
Because they're in the floodplain, they elevate the basement, and they don't realize that becomes a story. The last one I denied, it's absolutely out of place in this neighborhood. It's a small neighborhood, 1.5, 2-story buildings, and I would just suggest to the board, look at these houses, and I think it's within your discretion. I think typically the board says, just build it to the limitations. And these limitations, and I'm just expressing my personal opinion, I think very often they're blocking out sunlight, blocking out, everything else. And people are, in 90% of the time this hasn't happened, but just 2 cases in the last 2 weeks. And I just feel the need to bring it to your attention because,
okay.
We're the ones who look like, it's within the bylaw, but sometimes within the bylaw, I think on a non-conforming small lot is too big.
Okay.
Personal opinion. Thank you.
Okay. Do you have, did I remember seeing a design here?
No.
Do you have a design
No.
with you?
We brought a preliminary elevation. From what I understand, it's approximately 32 feet in height. Put it up on the board for you.
And I know I looked at this online. Yeah, we don't have any picture, do we have any, we don't have any pictures of this, right? Yeah, that really, I think you're supposed to provide some pictures, isn't that in the application?
The only picture we have is the assessment.
That one, yeah, so it's really a tiny little house. What's in the neighborhood? How tall are the houses? How many stories?
If I could say, that house probably fits in that neighborhood.
Okay,
Yeah. I'm talking about the avenues, little ranches, and all of a sudden you got.
'cause I looked on
Yeah, the
local
neighbors
live,
might, I
and
don't know
you
if the
can see
neighbors
it.
want to chime in, but,
Yeah.
that's not what I've been looking at, that's not what I'm talking
Okay.
about.
I thought you brought it up in reference to this.
I did, yep, but I think, my point is that, I think it's, when the board is looking at whether the expansion is, and I may be, not incorrect legally, but when the board is looking at whether or not it's a detrimental to the neighborhood.
Right.
I would say, if I lived in that little ranch beside this 4-story house, I would find it very detrimental, so.
Well, I think it is, I think
But
that.
don't we need
Not-
it
I'm not talking
in
about
this
one, I'm
case?
talking about the ones they looked at
Don't we
this
need what in
week.
this case?
Don't we have to determine whether it's non-conforming, increases the non-conformity first?
Right.
I'm not sure we even get to whether it's more substantially detrimental here
Yeah, because of that case law.
because of Gale.
Yeah, I agree.
Right.
Yeah, but-
Because, as I understand it, and I'm still trying to grasp Gale, but
Maybe, I think the way the board has proceeded in the past is the applicant states how many square feet they have now and how many they're going to. And that way, at least when they can come in, because I think, I read the decision on the one I looked at today,
Yep,
basically
20.
didn't restrict the square footage. It just said build it in accordance with the zoning bylaw. So,
Right.
So the question is, I mean, is this the design, or is this just like,
This is the design, this is the.
okay. And so how many square feet do you have now, and how many square feet are you proposing?
Existing structure is approximately 720 square feet. This is designed at 2,700 square feet.
720?
Correct.
To how, to 2,700?
Correct.
It's almost 4 times, 3.5 times or
Right.
something. How much, you quickie?
3.8
320 times?
roughly.
Okay. All right, does anybody else on the board have any questions, or?
On the design, is there a full basement?
No,
It's a slab or crawl space?
it'll be basically crawl space with breakouts because of the zone we're in.
Okay. Because of, they say the water, so your elevation,
Ground is elevation 14, that's what the new FEMA maps are, is 14 in that district, and we are putting the first floor at 17,
I see 3 feet above.
3 feet above it.
So your garage also is on the first floor?
Yes.
Is that part of the 2,700 square feet?
No,
Is there a living space over the garage?
yes,
And you've included that, obviously.
yes. That also included the space on the third floor, which would have mechanicals. I counted that in as habitable space, being able to store things in and whatnot, because there isn't any storage in the basement or really in the garage, even though the garage floor will be elevation 15, which is above what FEMA says, but
And I didn't, I guess the only other, there's setbacks on the plans, but no dimensions of the actual unit. Is that
Of the building itself, or
the building, yeah? Or are they off to,
I could certainly add them. They are to scale here. The building itself measures 52 feet in depth across the back. It's 30 feet. Across the front, it's 24 feet.
actually, Greg, that we have revised that since that. We're at 48 feet in depth, so we're 4 feet further from the wetlands on the back of the house.
So there'll be another plan, is that what you're saying?
As we go along, we figured if that one is,
so that one's not to scale, not to the current scale then?
it is to the original plans that we were doing, we're now
But
trying
not
to
to the new-
downsize
Okay.
a bit. You know, I could go with that plan, but
Does that affect the square footage number you gave us? Or is the
the
2,700?
27 is the revised
Is
square.
the
foot.
revised square footage?
Does anybody in the audience wish to be heard on this application? Okay. All right, well, I think we certainly, if you're going to have a new plan, we need the new plan to be part of the record. Because if we're going to base an application on a plan that's been submitted, we need the plan that you're going to use. So,
We didn't do that because we figured if we were bigger and we were making it smaller.
Right.
yeah. I suppose we could make it no more than.
Well, maybe
Yeah.
we can include that in our decision, just reference the size and then have an updated plan.
Yeah, or just simply say that, they can't make it any larger than the plan that's been submitted,
Right. Which is,
as of the date, this plan,
Right.
yeah.
so.
I mean, an applicant wouldn't typically have to come back if they lessened,
Right.
the running feet on the dimension, would they?
I don't know, I mean, technically, we do it as.
They wanna make it
part of the
smaller,
plan,
that's what
Yeah,
They can make it small, right?
Yeah.
And the dimension that we're lessening is to the rear yard setback, which is in conformity. It doesn't change the one that we're here for, which is really the front yard setback.
Right, so the 41.4 becomes 45.4. Okay.
all right, so anybody Anything else? Neil, do you have anything else to?
No, thank you for looking at that.
Do we have a motion?
You wanna?
Yeah, I do have one question.
Oh, sure.
This is in the floodplain?
Not right now, no. It's outside of
Proposed
it.
floodplain?
Proposed flood, it will be, yeah.
The upcoming floodplain.
Right.
So that doesn't make it,
Sarah.
We don't have any basement.
I mean, it's in the, that's gonna be below base flood, you know.
We did.
Oh, yeah, okay. Everything is elevated. Nothing in the basement, no access except for the breakup panels.
Okay.
And there's one other thing I'd like to say. I think we should make it a point. I almost gave a guy a heart attack in the office.
It's not good.
Not the one with the four-story building. He's tearing down a house. And I said, how old is that house? It looked very old.
Oh, that's right. The
And
100-year.
just remind all the developers and the designers that we have a, what do they call it, that demolition
Construction
delay
delay.
bylaw now. The house is more than 100 years old, so most people know, but he was an architect, he was shocked. And his house fortunately was not 100 years old.
We'll remind ourselves to
Yeah.
take a look at that, if we see that. Surprise people. Okay. Anything else?
That's it.
Okay.
so this is a Gale decision, then?
I think this is a Gale decision, because we have to identify the particular respect or respects in which the existing structure does not conform.
Right.
So,
Well, we've done that, and the question then is whether it increases the nonconformity, and it doesn't. It actually decreases.
decreases it,
Right.
okay? And if it's no, then the permit can issue.
Then it can issue.
Okay.
I spent a lot of time looking at that this morning when I was doing that one I did last hearing.
You
Okay,
need to
It gives
read
me a headache,
Yeah.
that decision. So I've moved to find that the application of 13 Wheeler Avenue Trust of 41 Old Littleton Road, Harvard, for a 40A Section 6 special permit, well, for a finding, move to find that the structure proposed does not increase the nonconformity, and in fact, with respect to front setback, decreases the nonconformity, and therefore we grant the application for a special permit.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion?
And there's no need to address setbacks at this point. We'll just leave it as is.
No, because Gale doesn't.
And then should we refer to the square footage?
Yeah, we will in the decision.
In the decision,
Yeah.
the square footage as
Right,
as
right.
related. Oh, yeah, and I should, and you're right, to grant a special permit to raise and reconstruct the structure in accordance and not to exceed the plan submitted by Morse Engineering Corporation dated September 23rd, 2013. Thank you. Forgot about that part.
Okay. You already second? Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Whose turn to write that?
Frank and Ed were the last two to write decisions, and then before that was you. So I don't know if Anthony wants to.
Yeah, you want me to take one?
Yeah.
You have a for instance for me?
I will send it to you.
Fantastic.
Buck up.
So that one.
Dive in head first.
If you look at the one I just did, you should get that shortly for 428. First parish, this is near identical.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay.
Second application this evening is Ellen Marie Hassenfuss of 50 Wampatuck Avenue, request NGL chapter 48, section 6, special permit finding to increase floor area by more than 20% of a non-conforming single-family dwelling. The property is located at 50 Wampatuck Avenue.
Hello. Could you identify yourselves for us, to the record?
Yes, my name is Bob O'Neill, and I'm a general contractor.
And I'm Ellen Marie Hassenfuss, the homeowner.
Hi, welcome. And why don't you tell us what you want to do with your property?
Ms. Hassenfuss is proposing to put a second-floor addition on the existing, over the existing footprint of the house. It exceeds 20% of the existing living area, so filed a application for approval of the zoning.
And what's the square footage now?
The existing square footage is 1,006 square feet.
1,006?
6, and the proposed addition is 816 square feet, which is over the main, it's a 34 by 24 addition over the existing 34. I'm sorry, it's 816 square feet addition.
All right, so it'd be 18,
Total 1822.
okay.
Okay. What's the math on that?
18, that's less,
It's
less,
1,000, it's going up 8%. Yeah.
How is that?
Huh?
No, roughly, I'm just kidding. So it's about an 80% increase.
81.3%.
And, whatever. So, are you in the floodplain?
Yes.
Oh, boy. It's getting sad here.
Actually, they're elevated
Yeah.
to above the proposed floodplain, fortunately.
Oh,
They're
The
already-
prior owner elevated, they was smart enough to go even higher, way higher than required.
Oh, so that's good. That's good. All right, does any, and so our nonconformities, let's identify those as the, well, we know it's the setback, the side yard setbacks, and the rear yard. No, rear yard is what, 20 feet? No, what's the rear yard? Oh, rear yard's 20 feet. No, in that area, it's 20 feet, isn't it? Okay, so they're okay in the rear, they're not good on the side. But it's not going to increase anything, so we're back to we're really the same as the prior application, correct?
Looks that way.
Do you have any comments? Okay. And lots of nice photos. That was nice. Always appreciate it. Anybody have any questions? That's a shaking your head, no?
No, I'm sorry, I'm just trying to catch up here.
Okay,
I don't think so, no.
okay. Does anybody in the audience wish to be heard on this application? Do we have? We should make a motion tonight. We should make all of them tonight.
On the application for a special permit at 50 Wampatuck, move to find that the, let me get the language again, that the proposed addition to the existing residential structure does not increase the non-conforming nature of the structure, and that the board grant the request for a special permit for the addition to be constructed in accordance with the plan by Ross Engineering Company, Inc., dated October 7th, 2017.
17?
13, I'm sorry.
Ahead of ourselves.
October 7th.
2013, yeah.
Back to the future.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very
Good
much.
luck.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Okay.
Third application this evening is John Tedeschi of 17 North Farm Road, request special permit in accordance with section 610.2.b to create a 50-foot frontage lot off Country Way between Whittier Drive and Curtis Street, maps 26, block 1, parcel 60 and 9R.
And again, if you'd identify yourself for the record.
And for the record, Gregory Morse, I'm a registered engineer, Morse Engineering, and with me is the applicant, John Tedeschi. We're here before you tonight seeking a special permit in accordance with section 610.2B of the bylaw, which allows for construction of a new dwelling on a lot that has 50 feet of frontage. The requirements of the section are that the lot have 50 feet of frontage on an approved acceptable way, which we do. We have access to Country Way, and that the lot area be 2 times the required area of the underlying zoning district. This is in the Residence 2 zip district, requires 20,000 square feet. The special permit lot requires 40,000 square feet. All of the land area shown on the plan is determined to be upland area. There are no been before Conservation Commission and received a negative RDA determination, which states that. The plan here depicts Lot A, which is the special permit lot. The access handle is a minimum of 50 feet in width all the way from Country Way back to the buildable portion of the site. The boundary here shown in the black bold line. The lot is partially improved by an existing curb cut on Country Way with an existing paved driveway up this portion of the lot as depicted on the plan. So there's already access to this piece of the site. I'll turn it over for any questions.
I was curious on that, because that driveway looks like it goes to the house next door.
Yeah, the house next door had been using that driveway. The house next door has their own driveway as well. They had kind of used it as a U turnaround, if you will. We've spoken with that abutter. They've removed any encroachments they've had on the property. There were other encroachments as well.
Is this, I didn't look at the title, is this registered land?
No,
Recorded land?
correct.
Okay. Well, and let's see, what is this, the bylaw? Okay, well. What else did I? And of course, your client understands that if this is granted, they cannot further subdivide the property.
That's understood.
Does anybody have any questions? Frank? Mr. Duggan, any questions?
I have a couple of questions, and I believe it's in the file, it's not in my file. The permit's going to be issued to John Tedeschi.
It's actually Blanchard Farm LLC.
That's to whom it's going to be issued?
Yeah.
Okay. Then I don't have that question. Second question, what is this state structure built 1897? What's that?
There is no structure on it.
John Tedeschi.
May I speak?
Huh? So
That's-
that was just, that didn't mean anything?
That's probably from the assessor's records for the existing structure on the remainder of the property. I think that's what they had listed as a date on it.
Oh, there's a,
Um,
on
the remainder
okay,
of the
so
land.
not on this particular piece?
Correct. This
Okay.
Not on that
particular
parcel.
Lot A
Right.
is vacant of any structures.
Right.
It's all,
Thought we had a demolition delay,
Oh, you were all excited. You got to pull that one.
so this is part of that larger tax parcel
Okay.
currently? That's the issue there, I got you.
Yeah, the existing house that's shown there is actually 18.
that you're gonna save that, right?
Yes.
Which existing property are you talking about?
The existing home on 40 Curtis Street is the 1897 home, yeah, which we're saving.
I just want to clarify, the applicant is you, Mr. Tedeschi, not on behalf of anything. Is this supposed to be on behalf of somebody?
It could be under my name as well. I mean, is that an issue, or?
No, it's just, it depends on how it's, it's
It
not
was-
gonna be issued to the Blanchard Revocable Trust, it's gonna be issued to you,
Right.
unless you change the applicant name.
We can, I mean, you can transfer the permit to Blanchard Farms. The Blanchard Farms was established after this application was made, is what it was.
Okay.
May I ask a question?
Well, when we get to that, we will be asking. Just to clarify, anybody else in the board have any questions or comments? Okay, open to the public. You have a question?
Yes, I'm Alice Bowker at 470 Country Way, which is the abutting property on Country Way.
Okay.
My question is this, if they're using that as a driveway or a road,
It's a driveway to their
it would
property.
be a driveway to one house or
Yes.
two?
No, just one house.
Just to the one.
To one.
Yes, yeah, just to
So,
the one.
and where would that be located? I have the plan.
It would be right here.
Okay. There can't be any dialogue
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
that way,
I'm sorry.
okay? So if there's a question,
It's going to be only a driveway, not a road that goes into the rest of the development at all?
it's a driveway that, well, if you want to put your driveway onto somebody else's property, you can certainly do that. But, this is a driveway that's going to this house.
Because
There is no authorization to build anything else back there at this time.
Just, if someone were to extend that driveway, it would then be a common driveway, and they would need a special permit from the planning board, so they can't do that.
Okay. There's the answer on that, then. Okay. Anybody else have any questions? Yes, sir.
Mike Cuneo, 28 Curtis Street. So tonight, there's no discussion of the access road to this development? That has not
It's
been
not a
determined.
development. It's one house. That's all he gets to build back there.
One lot.
One lot, rather. At this point, it's just one lot, okay?
And of that, once he does that, he loses the right to build a second house on that lot after tonight. So there's only one house can go on this lot, Lot A.
Just to be clear, when we say that lot, we're just referring to the Lot A all the way over on the left. We're not addressing what's labeled remaining land tonight.
Which is like about 7 or 8 acres, or close to 8 acres, I think.
Yeah, 7.5.
7.5, and just for the record, there has been a subdivision submitted to the planning board on that remainder land.
Okay.
That'll be discussed in a separate venue with the planning board.
Okay. And that doesn't involve us.
Yeah, when do we all,
When that gets filed, you'll get notice. Okay, so when there's a hearing on a subdivision back there, you'll get
I heard
notice.
this by hearsay. My name's John Feely. I'm 62 Curtis Street on the corner. I didn't hear much about it until Ms. Parker told me about this. So I was not aware from Morse or Mr. Jadeski that this was happening until the very end of the day. And I blame that on my children. I'm too busy. So I'm just concerned behind, the road will be going behind my house. There is some area there, I don't know what's gonna happen to that. Maybe you can expand on what the plans are for that road.
Well, I'm a little bit confused. Why don't you show us where you live?
I'm right here on the corner.
Okay, all right.
So that's the road.
It's a driveway.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
Okay.
That's what I thought. And
Right.
I thought it was a road, so
Yeah.
I'm learning a little bit more about that.
It was a road, is a driveway, you can call it
I
whichever.
heard 2-3 houses, so.
Right. All you're gonna be able to build on that piece of property is one house.
Okay.
That other piece of property is subject of a different permit request from a different board. And we have no information about it, and we're not gonna address it tonight at all.
Okay.
We're only concerned with the lot that they're trying to create, the single, family house on that back there. So, yes, sir.
Are there specified requirements for the width of a driveway in particular to this piece of property, or is it, it varies from property to property?
Mr. Dunn
Private
says-
driveway for a single-family dwelling, there are no regulations except for a curb cut
Okay.
from the DPW.
Are there regulations for a road to a development?
Again, we're not gonna talk about that.
Let me add one
Yeah.
other thing. Because if they're gonna be clearing this lot, they'll have to get a stormwater permit also.
Okay.
And they will look at drainage on the driveway and the rest of the lot.
what about if a fire truck had
Madam
to be?
Chair,
Okay,
can you remind
yes.
people to state their name and address?
Okay, first of all, It's just not an open forum for questions. If you have a question, if you could please, we have to keep it orderly. Nicole takes the minutes, she has to take people's names down. And so if you have a question or comment, you could raise your hand and we'll recognize you. So, moving on. Yes, Sam?
Hi, my name is Nancy Richards-Stour. I live on 40 Whittier Drive, and Mr. Tedeschi and Mr. Morse have been very patient with me because I'm living on the border of the thing that you don't want to discuss tonight. But you know that old Chinese proverb about how you don't die from the first cut, and you don't pay attention, and before you know it, you've bled to death? That's what I'm afraid of, because this is the second meeting that I knew about, and now apparently there's been another one. And I would just like to say that, at least for my family, and our house borders on the back of the development, there is a huge drainage problem that I have been the blessed recipient of. I have paid $1,000 of my own money to have a ditch dug once the farmer started plowing there, which he started 5 years ago. Because all the water comes down, there was white caps, and the town...
Are you talking about Lot A?
No, I'm talking about the part behind it.
Okay, and you know what? I'm going to move it on because we're not talking about that piece of property.
Okay, but I just, as a representative of the citizens of our town, I just want you to be aware that there are huge concerns that we just don't want to lose our septic systems, and this first lot could easily be sold in the future, and something bigger happens to it, which would allow something, well, you say no, but I've seen it happen.
Well, if anybody has a right to build as much a house on their lot as the bylaws permit, so could they build out to the building envelope? Absolutely.
I'm not worried about a home being built.
Okay.
I'm worried about the water being diverted to my backyard.
And there are stormwater,
Understood.
bylaws, and they're going to have to comply with that.
Understood, and one of them allows apparently a giant swimming pool to be built to catch all the water. And I just want every board to know in town that I don't want to have a mosquito breeding swimming pool in my backyard so that other people can build big houses. And I'm just begging you to just
I'm
please be
aware,
patient
thank
with
you.
me.
Well, we're patient, but the problem is that you're asking us to, we're aware of it, it's just not anything that we can do anything about it, because it's not what we're talking about
I
here
understand,
tonight.
but in the future, you'll be coming up with some other things here, and I
No,
just want you to
we
be
won't,
aware.
it's a
Right,
planning board.
not this board.
I don't know if everybody in the audience understands, this board has no jurisdiction over the subdivision whatsoever.
We don't, that's what we said, it's a different
That
board.
is currently in front of the planning board, who will look at all these issues, and will listen to you and take your input, we're happy to listen to you, but this board absolutely has no jurisdiction.
Maybe I
And they-
just want
they won't-
public witness to my concerns.
They won't be
maybe.
back before this board for this subdivision.
But they're witnesses to my stated
Exactly.
concerns.
Sir.
Just, John Feely again, 62 Curtis Street, just out of curiosity, how big of a dwelling is proposed for this lot?
Do you have they haven't made that decision yet. Okay, anyone else? Okay, do we have a motion?
Yeah, move to approve the request of the applicant, John Tedeschi, and that's the applicant, so that's who will put the permit name in. You can do what you need to do after that. Move to approve the request for a special permit in accordance with section 610.2B of the Scituate bylaws to create a 50-foot frontage lot off Country Way between Whittier and Curtis Street, as shown on the plan of Morse Engineering Company, dated
I think October 15th is the most recent.
October 15th, 2013.
Yes.
Thank you. Did I get it?
That's the new one that we got?
That's the-
Yeah.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Thank you.
Who's going to write that one? Right.
Actually, I think I did the last one, but no one's gonna sign, but you need someone for the last one too?
Want me to just do half and fifths too? It's pretty similar.
The constructor's probably going to be closer.
Yeah, go ahead, I'll do this one.
All right, Frank,
I'll do the 50-foot.
you do what?
You got that?
John will do it.
You do.
Yeah, that's Tedeschi.
Would you mind sending me for Hassenfuss a special permit? Thank you. I promise to keep them and,
Not the-
so I don't have to ask you for them every time.
Okay, who was writing? All right, so I have Anthony writing one.
Oh, we didn't,
No.
Anthony writing both of those?
Oh,
One-
no.
Yeah, I'll write,
You want to write both, 13 Wheeler?
and Hassenfuss, I don't have the address. Why not?
50 Wampatuck.
Thank you.
Okay.
Our fourth and final application this evening is Dalrin Development, 207 Front Street, request MGL Chapter 48, Section 6, special permit finding to raise and reconstruct pre-existing non-conforming single-family dwelling and increase pre-existing porch by more than 20%. The property is located at 582 Heather.
Okay. So, again, could you identify yourselves, gentlemen, and,
I'm David Vance from Delrin Development.
Michael Pastrito from Delrin Development.
I'm Herb Kundig, designer.
okay, and what are you looking to do?
We're looking to raise and reconstruct a new home on this existing non-conforming lot. The only non-conformity is the width, which we really can't do much about. We are not in any of the setbacks. We are not going to be in any of the setbacks. The home is just slightly larger than the existing, and therefore we had to come before you all. It's,
Footage of the house as it exists,
it's 1,500 square feet as is,
and how much is the proposed?
2,900.
That's almost 100% increase.
Yes. We have a neighbor at we're 582 Hatherley. 596 Hatherley has a 10,000 square foot lot and a 3,500 square foot house that was built very recently. So this is much smaller than them. Directly across the street from us is a 6,000 square foot house, but it's on, an acre and a half or 2 acres of land. So as far as the neighborhood goes, it's
Consistent with the other
It's
houses.
consistent. I mean, the one right next to it's 2,500. On the other side's about the same as us, or the same as what's there now, but the neighborhood's kind of diverse. And I think you all have some of the pictures of the existing house.
Could you make them look any worse? I'm going, I never thought there were houses up there that looked that bad.
No one knows it's there. I've had to tell people
Yeah.
it's not inhabitable, as is. It's
1920.
Pretty overgrown.
You're getting there.
When they planted the trees?
Can't have too many continuances.
Well, it's a great neighborhood, and the design is quite lovely, so I think it should be a nice improvement.
Yeah, and we're we're not close to any of the setbacks. We have a current plan that you're looking at with the screened porch off of the newest plan, so we're even further away from the setbacks than what you're looking at right now.
Okay.
Just the screened-in porch came off, nothing
Did you
else.
include the screened-in porch in the?
You have it on there? Yes?
No, in the square footage?
No, it's not. It wasn't heated space anyway.
All right, anybody have any questions? Oh, no, not from the audience yet, I'm sorry. I meant the board. We have to start there. Frank?
No, this sounds strikingly similar to.
Are
Exactly.
you on town sewer?
No,
So there'll be a septic system?
yes. We have not determined if it's going in the front or the back yet. We have space for it in both places.
And the garage isn't being touched?
The garage is pre-existing and staying, other than just repairing it. I think you can see it in some of the pictures that we took.
Sure.
Is this in a The proposed floodplain?
No.
Be close?
Uh,
I went way up that road there. Maybe if you're not, good.
No, it's inside the lights. It's not, yeah, it's not in the flood zone or the proposed.
Any other questions or
No,
comments?
that was it.
Okay.
I would agree, the houses up in that neighborhood are large.
Yeah, so it's consistent, the size and everything. Okay. Anybody from the audience?
Yes, this is Richard Woodland, I'm at 584. I'd say that, yes, there are large homes in Minot, but it is not consistent with the size lot that they are on. There are not 3,000 square foot houses on lots like that in Minot. And when they are put up, they look ridiculous. So I guess my question is, they're going to double the size of this. I mean, what is, as long as they don't go too far to the road and too far to the back fence, they don't have an issue? Is that your jurisdiction?
Well, it's kind of that's a little bit of a loaded question. There's a fairly new case out that says one of the things we have to look at in these applications is whether the alteration, which a raise and reconstruct would be considered an alteration, intensifies the existing nonconformities. And where this one is, everything's within the building envelope that they could build on. You only have to have side yard setbacks of 8 feet, and up there, is it 20 or 30 rear setback?
30.
30 feet, and 30 feet from the front. Otherwise, our zoning bylaws allows you could build out every bit of your property if you wanted to.
So are you saying that the plan is to stay within the existing footprint?
The plan is to stay within what's called the building envelope, which is if you take the property and you draw a line around the setbacks, the required setbacks, there is a space in the middle of the property that they can build on, and they are within that space. And they by no means have pushed it to the edges of that space. They could make this house larger than they are actually.
Okay, so the idea of the infringement increasing, so you have a non-conforming property, and it's going to be much larger, and what's the consideration for that larger structure not impeding further the non-conformity?
It's not the, no,
It's not, it's,
So if I have a 12-foot wall that's non-conforming, and I make that a 20-foot wall that's non-conforming.
But the
I think-
nonconformity is not
The
in
lot-
the structure.
it's in the lot.
The lot size. So
Which
the
is the same as
building
yours.
presently and proposed both conform with our building requirements in the zoning bylaw. It's the width of the lot that doesn't conform.
Which is the same as probably the abutter's lot.
So the width of the lot isn't going to change. That's a constant. They're putting in a bigger home, which still meets all of the required setbacks.
And that is why we designed it the way we did, where it would be narrow as you look at it from the street and go back further, so it doesn't have the whole width that the existing house does, so it doesn't appear as big, it's lower than the existing house.
Can I approach it? This is 596 Hatherley, which is 3 houses away. It's a 10,000 square foot lot, which is smaller, and it's a 3,500 square foot house. So it's not directly next door to us, but it's a few houses away. That is a bigger house than what we're proposing on a slightly smaller lot than we have.
That property looks ridiculous on that lot. It's got a 10-foot back here.
You know what? You can't legislate what somebody thinks looks ridiculous and somebody else thinks looks lovely, so,
At least not yet.
not yet. And I hope it never gets to that, unfortunately. So, anyone else? Okay.
All right. Let me get my gal
Good
stuff
deal.
again.
All right.
With respect to the applicant, Gerwin Development application for 582 Hatherley Road, For a special permit, move that the board find that the proposed, there's a raise and reconstruct, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Raise and reconstruct does not increase the non-conforming nature of the structure, and that the board grant a special permit for the raise and reconstruction in accordance with the plan of property here, yes, Ross Engineering Company, Inc., dated September 30th, 2013.
Second.
Oh, and also, you should reference the Kinder.
I can do that. And the elevation shown top where?
Oh.
Yeah.
October 13th.
Elevation shown in Kunding Design's plan, October 13th, 2013.
Okay. Second?
Second.
Any other discussion? All in, oh, it's closed. We're voting.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No,
I was
no.
looking, I have a floodplain map in that area.
Okay.
And I noticed you're 18. I think this is 17, so you're close.
Yeah.
On the new one, believe it or not. I'll show it to you later. So I was distracted, but I have no further questions.
Oh, okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Thanks.
Yeah, this is, look what they did with it.